But when I compare what we did yesterday with what we are embarking on today, I get this feeling that if your team got its act right, in the next audit cycle, you would not be coming to us to consider the audit report. You'd be coming to us to discuss challenges within your space. So I just want to encourage you that in this current audit cycle, work closely with the Auditor General, close all these small accounting things, variances, get an unqualified opinion, so that next time you're here, we discuss policy. We ask you questions like whether the new law that we passed is helping you or not. If you come here that we are discussing a variance in IFMIS, I am sure that even for you, you don't feel like we are utilizing you very well. But that is what we must do now. So this meeting, I would like it to be very brief, considering the issues that are before us. We'll not sit here up to 8 o'clock like we did yesterday. So, Oijit, can you let us know whether there's any issue that has been resolved so that we take it off and deal with whatever is outstanding?
Thank you, Chair. There are some issues which have been resolved. The outstanding issues were 2. And there were 2 which were partially addressed. So one of the partially addressed issue is the issue of variance, because the reconciliation by the time we were doing the verification had not been done.
So the only issue where there's an amount, where there's some figure queried, is this variance between IFMIS and financial statements?
Sure, Chair. That is the only place where there's an aspect of amounts.
Is this an indication of loss of funds?
Not as such, but not as such. But the documents are supposed to be, at the end of the day, they're supposed to balance. The figures are supposed to balance when it comes to financial statements.
Okay, so since it's the only qualifying issue, just read your finding, and then let's get the response of the Assembly. We'll query it, and then we'll take a view on the other policy issues.
Thank you, Chair. This is the report of the Auditor General on County Assembly of Kirinyaga for the year ended 30th June 2024. It was a qualified report, and the issue was variance between the financial statements and the Integrated Financial Management System, that is IFMIS reports. The statement of receipts and payment for the year ended 30th June 2024 reflects a total payments of 734,462,357. However, the ledger balances in the Integrated Financial Management System records reflected a total expenditure of 788,137,580, resulting in an explained and a reconciled variance of Kenya shillings 53,675,223. In the circumstances, the validity, accuracy, and completeness of the total payments amounting of 734,462,357 is at 30th June 20 could not be confirmed.
Okay, so that was the only basis for the qualified opinion.
Sure, Chair. The rest.
So if this was not raised, this would have been an unqualified opinion, yes, but with a few concerns on lawfulness and effectiveness.
Sure, Chair.
Okay, let's get the response from the Assembly.
Thank you, Chair. The management response is that the total expenditure from the County Assembly after reconciliation, which...
Maybe just point us to the response, because I'm looking for it. I'm just seeing the certificate here in this document you've given us. Where is the response? Relax, have you seen the response?
Just before the Annexure 1.
Before Annexure 1?
Yes.
After the financial statement?
No. Just before the Annexure 1.
Okay, I've seen it, okay.
Can I proceed?
Yeah, proceed.
Thank you. Our response is that the total expenditure for the County Assembly after reconciliation, which we've been engaging the auditors General and also the team from Treasury was Kenya shilling 733,217,122, leaving a variance of 1,245,235 shillings, which was attributed to IFMIS, which we have engaged IFMIS Department of the National Treasury, and the figure has since been reconciled. And to support that is the Annexure 1, which shows a reconciliation figure adding to 734,162,357.
Auditor General, what's your take on that response?
Thank you, Chair. This is a document which it's an extract, which at this point, maybe the Treasury can confirm whether they were able to reconcile, because normally when it comes to reconciliation, it's only Treasury which can be able to sort out IFMIS variances. Thank you.
Treasury, do you have any information on this?
Chair, I may not have the specific information on this particular query, but I know it's possible for the reconciliation to be done, because for any figure, any amount given in a system must have a source. So if given time, I'll go check on the Kirinyaga particularly and check if this thing has been done.
But Speaker, you have answered the wrong question, because you are now revising your expenditure from 734 to 733, and yet it's 734 that you reported and signed off as a true and fair picture of the entity. I thought you would be addressing why there was a difference between your financial statement and IFMIS. Because now, Auditor, if the Assembly says that the expenditure was not 734, it was 733, what does it say about the financial statements that they presented?
They were misstated from the beginning.
So, yeah, so you are introducing a different dimension, different from the matter that has been flagged here.
Maybe I'll also give the Director of Finance to comment about it, because after engaging even the auditor, I think that figure, the 788 was not the correct one. I think I will invite the finance director.
No,
so that maybe
yeah, because the starting point should be what you reported in your financial statements, which was 734.
Yes.
I am not very clear about where we got this 788 in the first instance from, because this is expenditure. Maybe they would have added invoices and so on, or maybe looked at expenditure from the bank statements. I don't know where they arrived at this 788. So the total expenditure is 788. Maybe we need also an explanation where this 788 was coming from. Is it from the bank statements? Is it from addition of the invoices? I'm not an accountant, but then we cannot make a finding that there was total expenditure of 788 from nowhere. That figure must be coming from somewhere. Where is it coming from?
Thank you, Chair. The figure was coming from the ledger generated from IFMIS.
So, like, was it maybe wrong addition from IFMIS? Is it possible to have a wrong addition from IFMIS? Maybe Treasurer can enlighten us on that.
Maybe in addition to, because this variance, Chair, through the Chair and the Vice Chair, these variants of IFMIS have been a consistent issue. And I remember Senator Okiya Omtata has a motion on the issue of IFMIS. So every entity is coming out with variance. Even if you look this, the variance has been referred to 733 with a variance of 1.2 million. So the question is it a creation of the National Treasury or a creation of client? Because they are now saying it is the Department of National Treasury that reconciled. So, Chair, through the Chair, and in addition of what Senator Maruma said, where does the sword fall by?
Chair, with IFMIS, we have the IFMIS data captured individually. If a payment is made or a commitment is made, it gets to the IFMIS. But when you go to the statement, the final statement will capture the payments made. The reason why we have such variances, there are some commitments that were made and they were not paid. So they will not appear in the statement. And that's why the client is supposed to reconcile, see that what was not paid. Then,
the fact that they are saying National Treasury has since been reconciled, it is what you cabbage in, cabbage out. So if you key in, but you don't, the process is not complete, it is on the role of the client to ensure that transaction is either reconciled or is restructured.
that's why we are voiding. When you hear about voiding, there are some payments that were not paid. Then you void and it will clear what was in IFMIS, and then it will reconcile with the statement. If that voiding or the clearance is not done, there will be a variance. And I think at times it becomes hard for the clients to do, and that's why they involve National Treasury to help them now see what was not paid and was not voided or not cleared for them to clear and then match with the statement.
If you go into IFMIS now, the total payments in IFMIS for that year would reflect 733 or 734?
734.
Would reflect 734.
Yes.
It will tie with the financial statements.
Yes.
Auditor General, is this something that you can look at as you do your, because if the balances don't tie, then they will not tie, no, how will it affect the current financial period?
Thank you, Chair. I've looked at the current report, which we are now at the draft level, and I can see there is no aspect of variances.
Okay.
Yes.
So there seems to be some corrective action.
Sure, Chair.
So our mind should be at ease that that variance that you had cited of 53.6 million is not loss of funds, it's an accounting issue.
It's an accounting issue, Chair. It's explained technically by the Treasury. That is the aspect of voiding, and when they now reconciled the records with the client, they were able to come up with that reconciliation.
But Chair, I don't know. Did you say, Auditor, that you had engagement with the County Assembly of Muranga after we wrote our recommendations? And when you looked at this reconciliation, you're not satisfied that the issue is addressed?
Chair, we say the issue was partially addressed.
What was still subsisting in that query?
We were to confirm with the current audit.
Or with the current audit?
Yes.
Okay. Because my feeling as a lay would be that County Assembly of Muranga has another source of income, maybe from the executive, and you spend it and then maybe it appears here. Okay. So we can have that comfort that all is well. Thank you, Chair.
Fine. So if this matter could have been explained at the time of audit, then, Speaker, you may not have had the need to come to the Senate because you'd have had an unqualified opinion, and therefore would have dealt with assemblies with far more weighty issues. So please, in this audit, ISPAC, you can see that there are some entities that should be in the position that you've been advocating, because there's no reason why a member of yours, in this case, this member is called Michael Monene. Michael is here.
Yes, Chair, I'm here.
Yeah, it will get to a point where we'll be recommending to ISPAC that any member who prepares a financial statement, that maybe for a start will be saying adverse or disclaimer. That member has no business staying in that profession. But progressively, we would be insisting that financial statements should be unqualified. Because an unqualified financial statement does not mean that there is nothing unlawful within the enterprise. That's why there's a section on lawfulness, effectiveness, and internal controls. An unqualified financial statement simply means that it presents a true and fair picture of the enterprise. And that is the irreducible minimum that we must demand from a member of the profession. Unless ISPAC, you want to encourage your members to be having issues, qualifying issues in the financial statements. What is your position on that?
Thank you, Chairman. Of course, the position of the Institute is that we want our members to participate actively in ensuring prudence in financial management and accountability. And one of the aspects is ensuring that they comply with all the expectations of the laws and statutes. So we also aim at unqualified. That is not negotiable. So the others will be able to work with them to ensure that they pull up their socks to achieve the same. Thank you.
Vice Chair?
Maybe last question for me. Do you have any pending bills? Because I can't see them declared here. Does it mean you have 0 pending bills? Then number 2, I'm looking at your financial statements. Note 7, just for my own sake, this transfers to other government entities. In 2022-2023, you had 101,428,343. Then in 23-24, there are none. There are no transfers. Yeah. What are these? What are these transfers? What do they constitute?
Chair, maybe
Yes.
in addition,
Yeah,
looking
Senator
at
George.
note number 10, acquisition of assets. I have seen the construction of civil works. In the previous year, it was 38,417,170. In the year under review, it was 5,520,678. So why the decline? What were you doing here? Is there specific works that had been done? Number 2, you can note it somewhere. I realize also in purchase of office furniture and general equipment, in 2022-2023, you used 2,373,000. In 2023-2024, that figure almost double. You raised to 5,220,540. So which furniture were you equipping? You need to shed light on that. And then assuming acquisition of ICT equipment, in the previous year you acquired an ICT of 2.9 million, 2,982,500. The year under review, they purchased an ICT equipment of 2,649,820. I don't know whether this answered or you are doing equipment, so you need to highlight that. And Chair, it has to note that in total acquisition of assets, in total in the previous year it's what 43,772,670, but it drops significantly to 13,391,038. So I like that. And then finally, Chair, these bank charges, they were the bank charges of 3,717, 3,485. So what are these? I thought you own a CRF account. Do you have any commercial accounts that would attract? Chair, that would be note number 11, or not number, so that I don't come back again, Chair. When you go at I can see you have a bank with Central Bank called Kenya Commercial Bank account. So I don't know what that means. And then you had cash in hand. In note number, it's still not number 13B, Chair, cash in hand, where you held in domestic currency of 5,104,000. So this cash in hand, what did it mean? And then there was a clearance account, accounts retained by county treasury was 4.5 million. This one is reflected in the receivables under number 14. So, Chair, if the clerk, who is the accounting officer, would shed light on those that has been reflected on their own financial statements of Kirinyaga.
Okay.
And of course, finally, Chair, sorry for taking, there is retention in note number 19, changes in third-party deposits and retentions. There was in the previous year 26,054,013. In the year under review, it was 14 million. So you remember, Chair, we discussed yesterday about the issue of deposits. There were the issue of ledgers and retentions payables. So what was this retentions? Is it the same with the acquisition of civil works that you paid 38 million? Is this retention money reflected that belongs to the contractors or to the service providers that provide?
Thank you.
Yield back.
So, Speaker, this is what happens when you end up with a qualified opinion, because if you come here, we'll ask all sorts of questions. And if you have an unqualified opinion, then we don't have to go into your financial statements with that level of detail. So I think start from where the Vice Chair asked, and then go into the detailed questions by Senator Chirarke.
Thank you, Chair. I'll request my Director of Finance to respond.
Chair, note number 7 is about transfer to other government
Bring that mic closer to you or raise your voice.
Chair, note number 7, transfer to other government entity. This is mortgage money that we receive from a checker. Then we transfer it to the mortgage fund account. That is, we have that mortgage account.
Now, clerks, there's something we need to tidy up with our sister committee, because the special accounts, so for example, this 101 million that went into a mortgage fund, you might find the clerk being called before the other committee to account for it. Yes. I think it's a bit untidy, because if it's an outgo in these financial statements, we should be able to have visibility on it end to end. Because, you know, you can easily say that we relayed 1 million to a mortgage fund, and then it is another committee that looks at it. So we need to have a technical conversation to ensure that when it declares 1 went to a mortgage fund, it is the same committee that has visibility on it. I think that's an internal conversation that we must have. Fine. So that explains the first question by Senator Maruma.
Yeah, and now that we know it's a mortgage fund, do you pump money to it every time we have new MCAs elected? Because I thought if it's a revolving fund, then people are paying and you don't need this amount of money at one go. Or what happens? Do you have defaulters? Because I thought once you make that revolving fund, that is all. Why do you need to pump money to it?
Honorable Vice Chair, what presently happen, most of our staffers, they have an entitlement. For example, these people are entitled to mortgages, staffers are entitled to car loans, also, all those kind of facilities. Unfortunately, as we stand, we don't have adequate resources to make sure that they are well facilitated. So much of the repayment that comes from the members' facility, we extend them to our staffers. And maybe as we discuss subsequent budgets, maybe it is my request whether we can have Senate intervention to have sufficient allocations that can also be able to accommodate our staffers.
Okay, proceed with the other queries. So you've dealt with note number 7. On the question of whether you have pending bills, had you responded to that? Had that been dealt with?
Chair, we had some pending bills at the back of the note.
What do they relate to? Are they supply of services?
Supply of services.
But you have only disclosed retentions.
Retention. Retention is the money that we have held for contractors.
Yeah, so your pending accounts payables only relate to retentions.
Retention, yes.
Only retentions.
Only retention.
There is no staff payables. There was no outstanding payment to MCAs, allowances, per diems, etc. for that year.
Only the retention for development fund.
Okay.
Yes.
proceed to deal with the other queries. I think Senator Chirarge had gone through a number of, under acquisition of assets, he had raised a few queries. Under acquisition of assets,
And acquisition of the
number,
asset,
note 10, I think he went to, from note 10, he went to note 13 and note 14 and note 15.
and acquisition of the asset, this shows that financial year 2022-2023, we incurred 43. Financial year 2023-2024, we incurred 13 million, which include purchase of the laptops, that is ICT equipment, laptops and computers. Then we bought furniture. Yes. That is additional building that is in the office that we constructed that year. We paid 5.2.
Wait a minute. If you spent just about 5 million on construction and civil works, why have you retained 4 million?
4 million means that
Because retention is 10%. So
in the previous year, there are some contractors that did not claim their retention money. So that is rolled over to the current year.
what's usually the practice? Is it the contractor to come and claim, or for the entity to pay out after the period, the warranty period?
The contractor claims for the retention.
And so if they don't come, you just keep the money.
Some delays, some comes. We keep the money in the account.
Yeah, because it's a liability. So you might think it's your money,
Yes.
and it's going to cause you problems with your members, because the day you tell them that there's no money, and they see that there's some money in retention's account,
Yes.
they'll demand that you raid it. It has happened in other county assemblies. So you need to have put in place measures, because this money belongs to contractors. Some of them are youth, women. Release it so that money circulates in the economy. Yeah, so Speaker, there's no need for you to be retaining this 4 million sitting idly. I think find a way of dispensing this. I know it's unconventional. You'd be happier if they came. But also having it sitting in an account poses a risk that someday it will be raided when you're under pressure from your members. And then you'll have problems with this committee.
Thank you, Chair. I'm well guided.
Okay, proceed. And if you give us very brief answers, we should be able to be done by 12.
Chair, on note number 11, bank charges. We have one account in.
We'll finish with the furniture.
Okay, furniture?
Chair, furniture
It's
is.
an increase of almost 3 million, and that is huge furniture.
We bought some furniture for the new offices.
You imported
Yes.
from where?
We did not import, we bought.
Or you bought?
You bought, yes.
Yeah.
But this is chair. The furniture worth 5 million is a lot unless you are equipping your plenary.
No,
All offices.
Honorable Senator, we managed to build offices, ward offices for members.
So these are for ward offices.
Yes, the 20 of them.
So you are the ones building. Which land? Where did you get the land?
Government, public land. It was done by the previous assembly as we completed. If you can remember when we came for the financial year review of 2020, 2021, and 2019, 2020, there was the issue of incomplete projects, which you were able to address, and the matter was.
Maybe chair to OAG, did you cite this furniture when you were doing maybe a few sampling? And is it tagged? Do you complete asset register tagged, numbered properly the way even our license officers have?
Thank you, Chair. For when we are doing the audit, we will of course verify, especially new acquisitions.
Yes.
We make sure that we are able to see and confirm that they have the aspect of asset management in terms of tagging. Otherwise, we could have raised an issue lack of.
So have you visited a number of ward offices to maybe
they normally,
cite this?
thank you, Chair. They normally visit sample. They don't visit all the wards, but they sample and they confirm.
So as your officers, were they able to see those furniture through the chair?
Sure, Chair. That is why there are no issues.
So are you saying that Kirinyaga has constructed ward offices in every ward
Yes.
owned by the county assembly?
Functional. Sorry.
Complete
Yeah,
and
it's okay.
functional,
There's
yes.
something. Oh.
Complete and functional.
Yes.
Chair, I think when we'll be visiting county projects, we must see. This is a miracle. So who stays in those offices apart from, because they stay in Kirinyaga headquarters? Where is the headquarters? Is it Kutus or where?
Don't have a private members offices
But
within
in
the
the
assembly.
main, the
But in
plenary.
no, we don't have members office in the plenary. So we did ward office where they are able to.
So within the plenary, there are no offices like the way we have here.
No. It's something that we are contemplating, though, of course, a budgetary issue, and when we are engaging CRA, it's one of the things we may want to engage them.
So how does your MCS work from? They just walk along the corridors and then wait to walk into the chamber?
No, we have committees rooms. That is what
If they have visitors, they want to come and visit them in the offices.
Yeah, that's quite a
discuss what
challenge.
issues.
That's quite a challenge.
So they do it on corridors?
No, in the committee rooms.
Oh, that's interesting. So you had a plan to construct offices for your MCAs, but it did not work out because of CRA silence.
It's an issue of budget because much of our allocation actually is
Through the
current.
chair, do you have a new plenary?
No, we don't.
Oh, okay.
We don't, but we have the intention maybe from the
But
next
did the
financial.
county executive sabotage your intention of constructing the plenary?
No. They really support us even towards the completion of the ward offices. So it's a discussion we are having with them and a discussion we might have with CRA.
Chair, I find a problem with your indulgence. I thought the priority of Kirinyaga County Assembly should have to come up with a plenary at the main parliament, at the main assembly, before they construct that ward. There must have been an enticement to go and construct at ward level, because I thought they should have a better facility at the headquarters before. Is it a case of putting the cat before the horse or horse before the cat? You know?
What perhaps the benefit of doubt we can give them, Kirinyaga County Assembly has been one of the more robust, because in the last parliament, I think the Assembly exercised its oversight mandate through an impeachment motion. And I also remember when I sat in the devolution committee, when there was an impasse on budget, the Assembly and the governor approached the Senate to help break that impasse. So I think we have seen some fairly positive legislative action from Kirinyaga. But the policy issues, because this is a legislature within a government, just the way the Senate is a legislature at the national government level, we might allow the Assembly to make their own policy priorities as long as they do not break the law. I think we are very careful as a Senate that when we have these conversations with the Assembly, we are not directing the Assembly. We are just looking at the actions of the Assembly against the law. Because if we are to direct you, then that would be unconstitutional, because you're an Assembly representative of the people. So ours is just to ensure that whatever you do is aligned to the law. I know there are some speakers who might have reservations about coming before the Senate, but that is a reservation that is based on ignorance and arrogance, because we have a responsibility to oversight county governments. And the definition of county governments in this constitution, a county government is defined as the county assembly and the county executive. In fact, the constitution was so deliberate that it first mentioned the assembly before it mentioned the executive. So it would be foolhardy for some of your colleagues to argue that yes, the executive can appear before the Senate, but not the assembly. The two form the government at the county level. So there shouldn't be any fear by speakers or county assemblies coming before us. And in any case, Mr. Speaker, if you had an unqualified opinion, we would not take your time to come to Nairobi. So that's why we are emphasizing that your accountant should do the right things, these small variances, because if you now come to Nairobi, we'll start fishing around the financial statements. And I can tell you I'm a good fisherman. I will find some fish to catch. So today, I am not in a fishing mood. I think
I'm also a good bandit.
Yeah.
I can look
so,
for where it is.
So I think since this substantive matter around the variance we are told has been addressed, we don't need to belabor the point. Go back, make sure that this current year audit, all these small accounting issues are resolved. Next time you come back, tell us whether you want your ceilings revised, whether you want some laws to be changed. That is a much better conversation for us to engage in. So I think your director was taking too long in addressing the issues raised by Senator Cherargei, and he runs the risk of falling into problems because he might catch some fish in his lengthy explanation. So can you conclude your explanation? Conclude, then we can go to the other issues that are outstanding here.
Note number 11, Chair, on finance cost, we have one KCB account for the operation for the assembly that incurred bank charges of 34.85. Note number 13A, we have account CBK, we have the development account, and a recurrent account, then KCB. The balances as per the end of June were CBK 0.5, then the KCB 27.05. But those are the balances. Then we had the cash in hand of 5,104,078. Then we have receivables. Receivables, we don't have retention account for now. These are money held by county government on our behalf.
I think I'll stop you at that point because we are taking longer than we should.
Yes.
Beyond the qualifying issue, the rest were issues related to the exercise that we are doing. It was about prior year issues and an implementation of recommendations. Then there was an issue around ethnic composition, which I think our view has been we need to see progressive. We know it's something that needs to be done progressively, but we need to see the numbers moving with every year. I know it cannot be achieved in 1 year, but we need to start seeing some evidence that there is some affirmative action being done on an annual basis. Of course, the challenge would be the ceilings and the fact that you cannot hire staff just to balance the ratios. And I think we are alive to that. So it's something that we usually prescribe with time. You should be able to realize it. Honorable members, is there any matter in this report that warrants our further interrogation, or we could ask the Auditor General to deal with them in the substantive audit that is going on? Yeah, so policies should be fairly easy to put in place.
The issue on maybe can, this issue of law on ethnic diversity sometimes is we gloss over, but it violates the law. So maybe the Speaker could tell us, as the Chair of County Assembly Public Service Board, why are they hiring the people of only Murima? And who are Nyumbambe Keake? So maybe you can comment because it violates the NCIC Act. It's a violation, and Kirinyaga is not far from the city. Chair, and most sons and daughters would want to work in Kirinyaga, and maybe Chair, because you have said something on policy, failure to update policy document and ICT strategic policy document. Maybe if you can order on the same, you can say something on ethnic. Does he advertise them in newspapers, in like Nation, Standard, Star, Business Daily, or he advertises them only in the Inoro TV or Inoro Radio? So maybe he needs to come clear on ethnic diversity.
Okay, Speaker, we have 3 minutes to midday. Can you make your response brief?
Thank you, Chair and Honorable Chiragai. The issue of ethnic diversity, we've been trying to progressively implement to make sure that we achieve the third rule. Initially, when you look at our report, the prior audit report, we were at 1%, which we have progressively improved to 5%. Basically, what we are doing is to make sure that whenever we have a vacancy arising from designation or maybe retirement, all the adverts are in the Daily Nations. That is a paper that can be accessed anywhere in Kenya and also in our website. So our commitment as a body is to make sure that whenever a vacancy arises, we try as much as possible to accommodate people, employees from other ethnic community, and I believe progressively we are going to achieve that.
Sure. Senator Morumo.
Yeah, this query about the ICT policy, lack of ICT policy, I think it's an important one. And there was an ICT policy steering committee that was inaugurated in 14th July 2021, but it never met and not had a very good mandate to do a strategic plan, you know, provide strategic direction among other functions. But the committee did not meet. How do you address this issue? Because according to the auditor, you have no annexes to show that you're doing anything. Yeah.
Thank you, Honorable Vice Chair. We took note of the concern by the auditor and committed to make sure that the matter is resolved. And I can report that in March 2025, the board approved an ICT policy which is now in place. So the matter is now resolved.
Speaker, go put your house in order. Don't come back here with this kind of matters.
Sure.
Please, I believe we all have better things to do.
Well guided, Chair.
Yeah, you didn't need to spend money from the assembly on this. Your team should just be serious. It is, I don't know why people fear a clean audit. I've heard that accountants don't like it when their books are unqualified. I don't know why. So in the process, you end up spending resources that would have been used for other things. So, honorable members, it's 12 o'clock.
You know, people are so used to mediocrity.
Yeah, yeah.
That is what the president is fighting. You have heard him saying we need to move from mediocrity to better things. I think we are so used to bad things in Africa until when something is right, you become suspicious.
To the point that the expectation has been that when someone comes to this committee, we must squeeze blood out of him.
Correct.
So I think we need to change that mentality, get to a space where the people are doing the right things in the counties. It is possible. We have seen it is possible if you just did a few things well, and if your team was a little bit more serious. Honorable members, I don't think there's much to, because the auditor tells me that they're on the ground, and the audit is at an advanced stage. Have you done the management letter already?
We have done the management letter and the draft.
So, okay.
Yes.
So, Speaker, make sure you respond to the issues raised in the management letter, and if you do the right thing, then in the next cycle, you'll probably come here for flowers rather than for grilling. Unless, Senator Lelego, did I give you an opportunity to go on record earlier? Please do so.
Thanks, Chair. My name is Lelego Tumbesi, Senator for Samburu County and member of this committee.
And still the deputy whip of the majority.
As at now, maybe in the afternoon things could change for better.
But does he know who he deputizes?
He might not be aware by now, but he has some indications.
Okay, so we'll learn about that later in the afternoon.
But we have dealt with the other one, Aaron. We have dealt with the other.
Unless there is any matter you want to raise from the Kirinyaga County Assembly delegation? Any matter?
Yeah, I can just advise them that for comfort of members of County Assembly, you know MCAs play a primary oversight in this country. I would beseech you to ensure at least you have a good working environment. You know, when some of us and Senate Chair, you are aware, we always defend the MCAs because we know they are the first layer of primary oversight. So apart from the issues we normally discuss on their maybe salaries and their own welfare, also the capacity. You need to give them, I wish you visit Kitui County Assembly, visit a number of county assemblies and see how you benchmark on the best practices of that efficiency. You know, when we argue, Chair, and let me reemphasize that we need our MCAs to have capacity and ability to deliver, is not only on salary or welfare or allowances, it is also the work environment. So I am proposing to you at least go back, sit with CRA, come to this committee of, I think, finance and budget, appeal for the review of ceilings, get a better office workspace, including plenary for efficiency and delivery of first primary oversight, and then it will become easy for this. But as you go back, Speaker and the clerk, and I don't know, I was not here, Chair, when they introduced themselves. I wish in future, make sure a number of MCAs are here so that they can also learn that I know sometimes they blackmail the Speaker or the clerk, sometimes, not all the time, so that they can understand they must be accountable to somebody. And that is the whole point, so that we learn. But we still expect a lot from the MCAs. Please ensure you oversight. Let us see value, so that what comes. Chair, and finally, allow me to mention this. I know I'm taking long. There was reports, even they were tabled, and you were in the chamber, and even the vice chair. We are wondering why should reports of Kirinyaga Water Company be tabled in the Senate? That something can be handled at the even level. The new hospital, is it Kirinyaga? Hospital reports, they should be handled at the County Assembly of Kirinyaga. So we want you guys to build capacity until the Senate only deals with the policy as the Chair has directed and other macro issues that is affecting the evolution. So Chair, I yield back and wish them well. MCAs are our partners in terms of making the evolution work. I yield back.
Thank you. Vice Chair?
Yeah, maybe there's the issue that you've been grappling with, the issue of financial autonomy of the assemblies. Do you think that it's affecting your work? Are you more autonomous now than ever? Is it a problem that is affecting you also? Or you think you're working well with the executive and you're getting your money without any problem? Because it's something we've discussed in the Senate and it has been a conversation amongst the country, in the country.
Thank you, Chair and the Vice Chair. Well, there is some improvement with the recent amendment of the PFMA, where, as opposed to the previous, but still there is, that is work on progress, because still the CEC for finance has the final say as to how the money are disbursed. But from where we sit, we think that we still have to improve on it as we move on.
Yeah, we'll probably take a year or two to do a legislative impact assessment and see whether it was the right route, because we have really celebrated it, but what we get from the ground seems to be that it's not necessarily the fix that we needed. And those are the conversations we should be having whenever you guys come. We have argued about SOCAT and CAF. From where I sit, I think they are very good organizations to have, but they just need to be anchored in law. And I think there's some amendment that is before the House that should strengthen, provide clarity for COG, intergovernmental relations, CAF, and also provide a leeway for SOCAT. So that when you sit at SOCAT, you can always advise us that, yes, this is a law you passed, but it is not having the intended impact or outcome. And again, CAF, even though CAF is not for speakers, it's for speakers and the entire membership of county assemblies. Because I noticed that in your prior year, you had subscriptions of 4.9 million. In the year under review, it was 0. I hope it was not hidden in other lines. But let's have that mature conversation between CAF, SOCAT, and the Senate. We used to engage when I was in the devolution committee in the last parliament. I don't know whether you are still engaging the devolution committee of this Senate, because we have only 1 year to go. And our experience is that legislation that is not financial in nature takes almost 2 years, because it has to go through both houses, public participation, all those durations. So if you're not careful, this parliament, 13th parliament, its term will run out before we have sorted out these things. So go back to your group of speakers and CAF, go back to your group of clerks in SOCAT. Let there be a sense of urgency in making sure that the laws are amended to give you voice, and the laws are amended to ensure that there are clear objectives for establishment of CAF and SOCAT. We don't have, we no longer call them illegal organizations. They are not illegal. I mean, they are duly registered. So that's not the language we use. It's just that if they're going to receive public funds, then they need to have some legal grounding so that those public funds can be traced. So please take back that message, that we are calling for a sense of urgency on your part, because it will require a lot of intervention to process legislation within 1 year through both houses. Time is running out. Speaker, anything you want to make in closing? I think we are taking longer than we intended to.
Nothing much. Thank you, Chair. Mine is to assure you that we'll not be coming here again to discuss a qualified statement or statement with disclaimer. As you can see, we have improved progressively, and I hope this current financial year will be able to deliver an unqualified opinion. We've invested a lot in capacity building, through training, through benchmarking, and I believe the county assembly is headed in the right direction. And thank you so much also for your insight, Honorable Cheragai. It's not that we never wanted to have a good facility for our members. It was the first project for the first county assembly of Kirinyaga, but we were taken in court. We've gone through arbitration, and the case is over. So we'll be able also to provide a decent working space for the members, current and even the future, past 2027. Thank you.
Thank you. So pass the message to your colleagues, speakers. This exercise is not supposed to be antagonism. This is an exercise where, as you can see, we have had a very good conversation. We had a record number of requests for postponements in the last 2 weeks. And I think I get a feeling that people were looking for excuses not to come before the Senate. I think go back and tell them that we are partners. And as long as you are doing the right thing, we are not going to vilify you unnecessarily. We'll only deal with the people who are not doing things as required in law. The meeting is adjourned.